Previously, when Shyman finally found the escaped Callia, he was shocked to discover that she was heavily pregnant. However, he set aside his jealousy regarding the child's father and decided to bring her to a safe place for the delivery. And as Shyman brought Callia to the Lord's mansion, she suddenly felt a sharp pain in her tummy. Realizing Callia's grave situation, Alan quickly commanded Gallas to prepare, as the baby was ready to be born. Later, after Callia successfully gave birth to a healthy son, she cradled the baby close to her chest, expressing that at last, she had someone she could call her own family. Witnessing Callia's joyous smile as she felt her baby's touch, Alan and Gallas were overcome with emotion, while Shyman reflected that he would never let her run away from him again. So, let's dive into the chapters 48 and 49 of the manhwa, The Baby Isn't Yours. As Gallas visits the baby's room in the morning, she finds that Shasha is still sleeping peacefully. Seeing this, she expresses that she has been waiting so long to meet Shasha in person. Gallas then asks Shasha to get along with each other and be good friends. Suddenly, a strange sleeping spell surrounds the room and gradually makes Gallas fall asleep. And the person behind it is none other than King Callia, who mentions that Gallas will not be happy to see what will happen next, so she must sleep for a while. He then touches Shasha's cheek, stating that it's nice to meet him. Some time later, Callia and Alan arrives at the baby's room, where Alan supports Callia by the waist and suggests her to lean on him. Embarrassed, she responds that she is fine and can walk by herself. And as Callia waves her hand to cool her hot face, Alan asks if she is really okay. Teasing, he questions why she stumbles every time she walks, to which she angrily replies that she doesn't. Hearing this, Alan gently pokes her head and declares that she clearly stumbled. With reddened cheeks, she reflects on what's wrong with this guy, as he is getting more and more handsome since she last saw him. Not wanting to stop, Alan again supports Callia by the waist and asks if he should give her a hug. He adds that if he embraces her, it won't feel bad by any means. Closing her eyes due to Alan's shining face, Callia wonders what's really wrong with him. By giving in to her resistance towards his romantic approach, Callia leans against Alan's chest and blushingly reflects that he is extremely gentle sometimes. However, Callia flinches heavily upon witnessing an unexpected guest near Shasha's cradle. Shouting, she questions if he isn't King Callia and wasn't he back in the fairy forest. Getting caught, Callia telepathically asks if she is upset by his visit. Listening to this, Callia stands still and perplexed, while Alan mutters that here comes the third wheel. Deep in thought, Callia wonders why he mentioned that the blood spell could only be used by those who follow the blood of the fairy king. Besides, he said that she doesn't have a fairy stone, hence she is obviously human. In an instant, Callia conveys that Shasha is a newborn fairy, and he may be blessed by the fairy king in the fairy forest only once in his life. Smiling, Callia adds that every child of the fairies has his blessing, so Shasha must also have his blessing. And as far as he knows, not a single baby of his tribe is far from his protection. Callia then begins to whisper a spell over Shasha, declaring that he can rotate his limbs in the direction he wants. Plus, his wisdom will not be dimmed by the fog of ignorance and will gain the eyes of a sage that perceive the essence. Moreover, his voice will be like a singing bird with sweet words. And as Callia finally bestows his blessings, he delivers a gentle kiss on Shasha's forehead. Smiling, he suggests Shasha to never commit an unfilial act as his parents' child. However, upon observing the leaf turning green, Callia shockingly wonders why it's flashing green light. Meanwhile, Shasha quickly strokes Callia's rough face with his little hand, and as Shasha utters a cute voice, Callia blushingly reflects that he has never seen such a perfectly cute baby. Witnessing this, he holds Shasha in his strong arms and begins to stare at him with mesmerized eyes. Nevertheless, Shasha gets scared and begins to cry heavily. Hearing Shasha's crying, Gallas abruptly wakes up. Finding everyone present, she clarifies that she didn't mean to doze off. Gallas then informs Callia that it's time for Shasha to eat. Hearing this, Callia mentions that she will take Shasha to her room to feed him. And as Alan along with Gallas follow Callia back to her bedroom, Callia asks if he can come back again to meet Callia and her baby Shasha. Smiling, Callia expresses that he can come to meet them anytime. Stating this, she eventually leaves the room, while Callia smiles visibly. Suddenly, Callia's eyes turn into predatory ones, as he senses a negative entity in the corner of the room. To this, he orders the entity to come out right away. Complying, an entity with multiple eyes emerges, to which Callia states that it was the one watching the whole time. By casting a kind of spell on his hand, Callia orders the entity to consume it, and as the entity eats, the spell absorbs the entity into it. But this, Callia declares that from now on, the entity will be his agent. He then commands the entity to return to its former master and tell him in detail what it has seen, except for what Callia did to the entity. Meanwhile, in Callia's bedroom, Callia finishes feeding milk to Shasha up to he is full. Seeing this, Alan smiles and explains that after feeding Shasha milk, she must make him burp like that. And if they don't burp properly, babies often spit up what they have eaten. Hearing this, Callia is shocked and exclaims that babies are amazing. Meanwhile, Shasha starts making a weird face with his eyes wide. Yelling, Callia asks Alan why he is making such a strange expression. Chuckling loudly, Alan explains that newborns sometimes make these looks when they're in a good mood. Learning this, she gives an angelic smile and expresses that it's so cute. Amid this, Shyman arrives outside and asks for permission to come into the room. Dear viewers, apologies for the interruption. If you're genuinely enjoying the content on this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe icon with all notifications, since this little support of yours will help this creator continue delivering high-quality work to brighten your day. And take a moment at the end of the video to leave a comment, sharing your thoughts on the content. Your feedback means a lot. Now, let's not take up too much of your time and jump back into the story. And as Callia allows it, Shyman steps in and quickly questions why the doctor is here alone with her, and if she is sick that he needs to check on her. Sensing Shyman's jealousy, Callia clarifies that Alan is just here to tell something to her. With an intimidating look, Shyman reflects that he knows Alan is a doctor, yet every time he sees him, he feels very upset. Observing the enraged Shyman, Alan declares that he will take Shasha to the baby's room. Noting the couple-like atmosphere between Alan and Callia, Shyman conveys that originally, he should have been there, as that place belongs to him, and he must have to do something so that Alan can't even stay by Callia's side. Approaching, Shyman inquires if Callia is feeling alright now, and as she responds that she is okay, Shyman romantically expresses that he is relieved to hear that she is totally fine. Zoning out, Callia wonders what is wrong with this guy suddenly, as he was angry just a moment ago. Besides, she thought he would be upset that she suddenly disappeared. More than that, why he didn't question anything about her being pregnant. Interrupting, Alan requests Shyman to leave Callia alone if he has nothing important, as she must take a rest. Alan then reflects that despite the importance of a father's role throughout pregnancy, how indifferent Shyman was that he didn't realize she was pregnant. Plus, he made her run away without even being able to speak. Enraged, Shyman inquires if he needs Alan's permission to meet Callia. Trying to calm Shyman, Callia states that she is fine and asks Alan to let her hold Shasha. And when Alan tries to protest, Callia assures that she can handle both Shasha and Shyman alone. She also teases that the monstrous Shyman won't eat her. Hearing this, Alan nervously reflects that Shyman totally looks like a maniac. However, he halts his protest and get ready to give Shasha back to Callia. After all, what else could he do, as Callia is the mother of the baby? Yet, why does he feel like that Shyman is the actual father of Shasha? With a long sigh, Alan declares he will step out so she can call him if she needs him. And as Alan leaves, Callia asks Shyman to say hello to Shasha. Noticing the name Shasha, he questions why she calls him by that name. To this, Callia conveys that this is the name she decided to give him after he was born. Suddenly, Shyman reveals that he was called by that name when he was young, and it seems Callia has completely forgotten about that. And as he sits beside her, she wonders why she can't remember about it. Extending towards Shasha, Shyman softly introduces himself, and by playing with Shasha's cheek, he remarks that it is nice to meet him. Chuckling, he asks if Shasha is dreaming of eating, since he has such chubby cheeks. Shocked, Callia asks herself why he is behaving like a complete stranger, especially since he originally didn't like children. Instantly, Shyman lifts his head and finally inquires why she went so far to give birth to the baby without telling him. Sweating nervously, Callia responds that she wanted to rest and was going to retire. She then apologizes for not telling him, explaining that she couldn't because she thought he would stop her if he knew. Smirking, Shyman asks if she was really planning to retire from her post. Sliding closer to Callia, he reveals that he knows that Shasha is his son and that she lied to him. Hearing this revelation, she wonders what she should do, because Shyman seems to have more affection for Shasha than she thought. However, his mother is completely evil, totally different from him, and she would never allow Callia and her son to come near Shyman, who is the rightful duke of his family. Besides, now that she thinks about it, his mother was wary of them becoming more than friends. Pressing Shasha near her chest, Callia insists that despite it didn't happen emotionally, but apart from all reason he is her child. Wanting an answer, Shyman pleads with her to tell him if he is Shasha's father, to which Callia sternly declares that her child's father is not Shyman, and her baby's last name is not the Laurentine but Taxicate. As we wrap up today's segment, thank you for being with us until the very end. I'll be sharing fresh videos of this manga and exciting new series every weekend. Your support is invaluable, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your encouragement keeps the channel thriving, and I appreciate it immensely. Until next time, take care and goodbye.